You are watching
Also,
Xirtus.
you had something about Monarch, right? It was the ancient word for butterfly is Psyche. Soul of the dead in October, the orange and black monarch butterfly migrates south to Mexico, who celebrate their Day of the Dead November 1st. The butterflies hibernate in the Arbol de Navidad, Christmas, right?
Yeah.
So that's interesting because Monarch programming associated with orange and with death. I mean, that's pretty good. You got to admit.
And
Let's work from standards.
generational trauma is also part of Monarch programming, right? And like that's like the Monarch butterfly takes 4 life cycles to make it for a full
Monarch
migration.
Monarch programming works as a sync resonator more than it does like if you're actually getting into real conspiracy stuff. Like, because Kathy O'Brien, she's like, I don't trust her testimony. Like, if you want to call it testimony, because it's not like an official thing or whatever. Tracy Twyman did a book with interviewing her, and I really love Tracy and I can appreciate it, but it's more become like a sync resonator than anything. Like, even in Kathy O'Brien's own communication around it, she says it's not about the butterfly, it's about the, or no, it is about the butterfly. I forget.
Yeah, no,
How did she say it?
I think
Because
there's a
there's the
strong push
monarchy.
for that.
So she's relating to the monarchy, right? And then relating to the idea of the way that the butterfly would literally, like the butterfly flapping its wings, that connected to what would happen with the subjects in the programming when they were in the trauma state of what their minds would literally do, like as a butterfly
Chaos
flapping.
theory.
Yeah, I don't know. Kathy O'Brien's a whole other giant rabbit hole, and a lot of people got really excited about her because she confirmed the David Icke like reptilian thing when she was just like, yeah, reptilians from another dimension, like controlling the world leaders, including the Queen and all this kind of stuff. So I don't know. I'm more like, you got 300 people who testified like in a formal testimony, like for MK Ultra, as MK Ultra victims. Like, you don't have to like speculate on the things like that they presented, because it's like 100% documented and proven and whatever. Whereas Kathy O'Brien is kind of like, I don't know. And then what Vigilant Citizen does with that, where they're like, every single Hollywood movie, it's just Monarch, subliminal. Like, I don't. It doesn't do it for me. Sorry.
Fun fact, I knew Vigilant Citizen back in the early 2000s, but like when we were both just making music, not even talking about conspiracy theories and stuff. But Nicole just mentioned the concept of it takes like 4 generations for some of the monarch butterflies to make their entire migratory pattern, and that is the part that comes up a lot in not the MK Ultra stuff, because that's proven. The Project Monarch, which as far as I know has never been proven, but if you read Fritz Springmeier's book about how to create an undetectable mind control Illuminati slave, or whatever that title is, he makes a pretty decent case, maybe not directly, but that the monarch butterflies also represent this concept of epigenetic memory, that if you can traumatize someone in a family line, then their offspring can slip into a trance easier than if their parents hadn't been traumatized. And if you can do that for 4 or 5 different generations, then essentially you create this perfect moon child that can just be taken over at will, because it has this epigenetic trauma-based programming that's kind of been like prepping it for this new life. And I've always understood that as the tie between monarch programming, because monarchs do have a way that they're somehow passing down the next step on the map to their kids without being able to communicate it.
You guys know there's certain themes in Polanski films. One is the like thematic like reoccurrences where an object will land in wood directly and stay vertical, where it's like in Rosemary's Baby, it's the knife drops and it stays vertical. In Bitter Moon, it's a syringe that lands and stays vertical. It happens over and over again. Another theme in Polanski films is oranges dropping and rolling around. Like, he just does it repeatedly. And you can see it in The Tenant, where it drops when he has there's a big revelatory thing that happens, and it happens at the beginning and it happens at the end, because it has a flashback after the context of how we've arrived at it, and the whole movie becomes this crazy paradox. But it's also, there's a mind control theme in relationship to the oranges dropping. In The Ninth Gate, the oranges roll down these stairs. It's just like, why is he showing us that? Why does he go back and forth between witchcraft or sorcery, right, and CIA programming? Like, if you see Death in the Maiden, that it is about MK Ultra. It's about an MK Ultra victim who would be the equivalent of Dr. Green in reality, like shows up as Ben Kingsley with Sigourney Weaver And it's this question in the whole thing. The theme throughout is she crazy? Or is this really what happened? Turns out, spoiler alert, she's not crazy. Just like in Rosemary's Baby, she's not crazy. But it's like he does this communication that's like, it's not so subliminal. Like if you catch the themes, like when these things happen that reoccur throughout his films, he's making the same point from a different route. Like if you look at Ghostwriter, the movie with Ewan McGregor and Pierce Brosnan, like that movie is about a CIA assassin who we don't know is a CIA assassin through the whole movie. And we find out at the end, sorry, spoiler alert, but like that, this movie Ghostwriter, it ends with CIA like manuscript play. Like the credits are presented as though they're documents. And this is crazy. Like if you start if you start this movie at the beginning of the ninth gate, it moves through gates through the beginning credits, right? If you start this movie when it goes through the ninth gate and you play them together, then both films will cut to credits at the same moment. The credits for the ninth gate are just fire. Like you have fire with the credits rolling. While Ghostwriter has CIA documents. So the end of the Ghostwriter is literally like the proof that this person was a CIA assassin. It gets blown away. So no one's going to know the truth of the matter. And then the credits roll as CIA documents, and then the other one is just fire. So it's as though he's communicating that the documents are being burned up. And you know that he's relating things that he actually is hip to. This is why he was such a target. I'm not making excuses. I'm just objectively, like, he did the same shit that people have been doing in Hollywood for freaking ever. And he became the scapegoat of everything, to be like, oh, we caught the guy. Like, it's almost to just make everyone be like, oh, okay, well, so something's being done about the weird stuff that's going on in Hollywood, right? So it's like he became the epitome of that target, while he was the one who happened to be almost more than anyone blowing the whistle symbolically or whatever, but like really overtly with his filmmaking. So it's kind of crazy that it's like, you know, why isn't Jack Nicholson being gone after when Jack Nicholson, it was his freaking house of the thing that happened with Samantha Geimer. So it's like, who had a tunnel to the Playboy Mansion at the house. Like, there's no mention of any of that from the media when we were all when the media is like digging into it. It's like, why didn't they talk about all the other levels and everyone else that's implicated? And it's the same thing with the Manson stuff. It's like, that was weird Hollywood underground stuff. Like, there's no mention that Susan Atkins was with the Satanic Church shortly before and like participated in this ritual where she's on LSD in a coffin with these like celebrities in the room and all this stuff. Like, when the media was going crazy about it, why didn't they talk about any of that? It just doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? Like, anyway, sorry, it's a tangent. But.
That's so weird, because with the Hollywood CIA connection, and then that is called Ghostwriter, and we call all our CIA agents spooks, right? Like,
right.
Like, spook is the term for a CIA agent, and they're doing these ghostwriting bizarro stories.
Yeah, well, that movie's a play on Tony Blair. So I used to say you could have called Ghostwriter the Tony Blair Witch Project, because it's like the character is obviously supposed to be Tony Blair, but then there's another level to it, saying that there's more to the picture than the way the media and the media machine is treating it. And it's all about PR. Like, Ewan McGregor's job is there to do PR. And like we've discussed here, the original Star Wars prequels, how they are all about false flag terrorism, with the Phantom Menace is literally false flag terrorism and all this kind of stuff.
You brought this up also in your thing.
Yeah.
That MAGA is the 5th highest degree of the Satanic Temple. That was another important one.
I think it's interesting in terms of like the divine feminine. Like, the altar supposedly for Satanic Church is the female body. So to me, that's an interesting thing, is like that the vessel through which we all come is like the highest altar of the Satanic Church, which also to me, like, because isn't like their birthday, like the birthday is like one of the highest celebrated holidays for the Satanic.
Totally.
I don't know. Like, I'm not an expert on
it. At least in Levain Satanism, your birthday is like Christmas. Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So I don't know. To me, sometimes I think some of this like satanic stuff is a joke on us, because we're like, ooh, bad Satan. And then we're like, we're like fully satanic, like in so many ways. Like, when you read the 7 tenets, they're like so reasonable. That's it. They're rational, right? But they deny the spirit or they deny the supernatural.